the Planet Rock Podcast, the hottest show in the cosmos. Get ready for insight and inspiration right here on Planet Rock with your special guest, Rhona Bennett. And your cosmic guide through our ever-changing space and time, I'm your host, Raquel Herring.
Hello and welcome to the Planet Rock Podcast, the hottest show in the cosmos, your go-to spot for all things relationships, personal growth, and navigating life's twists and turns. From the depths of dating and marital dynamics to the heights of spiritual journeys, entrepreneurship, money, pets, and plants, we explore every facet of human connection. I'm Raquel Herring, your cosmic companion on this wild ride called life. Each episode of Planet Rock is packed with insights and inspiration to help you thrive in this ever-changing world. From heartwarming stories to candid conversations, we're here to empower you and uplift your spirits. Tune in every Thursday at noon Eastern Standard Time on envision-radio.com, where praise meets talk for some real talk, real people goodness. And don't forget to catch the video replay on YouTube every Saturday. And remember to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell to stay updated with our latest episodes. Follow me on social media for updates and swing by my website at raquelherring.com to stay connected. Ask questions, leave some compliments. You know what I'm saying? Relax, settle in, and let's rock your world one relationship at a time right here on Planet Rock. Welcome to another episode of Planet Rock. Oh my gosh, today is just truly exciting, okay? I have the very beautiful special guest, Rhona Bennett, also known as Miss RnB. Rhona is an incredibly talented singer and actress, best known for her role as Nicole on the Jamie Foxx show and as a member of the Grammy-nominated R&B group En Vogue. Rhona's journey in the entertainment industry began as a Mouseketeer on the all-new Mickey Mouse Club, and she has since graced both stage and screen with her remarkable talent. Beyond her impressive career and resume, Rhona is the founder of Personal Power University, where she empowers individuals to achieve their personal and professional goals. Join us as we dive into Rhona's inspiring story, her passion for music and acting, and her dedication to helping others find their own paths to success. This episode is filled with insights and inspiration and genuine human connection that you don't want to miss. Welcome, Miss Rhona Bennett, to the Planet Rock Podcast. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you. I'm like, who's that? Talking about.
That's you.
And I love your intro. I mean, the energy, the fly. Yeah, I love it.
Thank you so much for joining the show. We're just going to jump right in it. Rhona, we want to know about the early beginnings. Can you share with us your journey into the entertainment industry? Like, what inspired you to pursue a career in music and acting?
Well, I mean, I would say that I got bitten by the entertainment bug at a very, very early age, about 7 or 8 years old. I'm from Chicago, Illinois. So, we have basements in the Midwest. And we frequently in the basement performing to our walls. But of course, to me, they were not the wall. It was like a theater of people that were celebrating what I was doing, whether it was, disciplining my imaginary children or doing some type of performance. They loved it. So that kind of was my playground. And then every summer, my parents would take my sister and I to Alabama because that's where my family's from. And my maternal grandmother used to take care of foster kids. And my cousins used to come by and we would all hang out together. And by the end of the summer, I would usually be found with this talent show put together. And so my parents and my uncles or whoever wanted to come and see it could come and see it. And, prior to that moment, my parents were pretty much yelling downstairs for me to be quiet, and my grandmother was the one that was like, maybe you need to pay attention to Rhona. There's something there. And so mom really kind of took to that. And when I got back home, she put me in the children's choir. And I enjoyed it, but I was kind of ready for a little bit more. And so then I ended up joining something called the Soul Children of Chicago. And they are still going to this day. Shout out to Walt Whitman. They just had a major performance at the DNC. And yeah. And my mom tells me about this time when we were riding down the street. And I want to say in our old rustic Monte Carlo. It was a trusty family car, but my sister and I used to be like, do we have to ride in this car? But we were driving down the street in the Monte Carlo, and my mom had the age-old, conversation with me, like, what do you want to do when you grow up? And I told her that I wanted to be a singer like Whitney Houston, because she was my childhood inspiration, my childhood hero in that way.
Yeah.
Right? And
a lot of people.
so many people. She inspired probably a generation
Yes.
and singers, performers, right? And
yes.
She thought it was cute. She's like, that's nice, but what's your plan B? And I was like, I don't have a plan B. And she tells me, I remember this vaguely, but she remembers it very clearly, that I turned to her and I asked her with all sincerity, Mom, what can you do for me? That sincere asking and my father to figure out how to get this kid in the business, because both of my parents weren't. With the fine arts. My mom worked for the government for like 43 years. My dad worked for a construction company for over 30 something years. They were thoroughbreds in that way. So we just asked our way into the business, ask for help. Yeah.
Nice. Wow. That's a great story. I did not know you were from Chicago.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Oh my gosh. Like, we haven't talked about that kind of stuff, like we met at the MMC 30 in Orlando about 5 years ago, right?
Yep.
And it was so exciting to meet you, because I was like, oh my gosh, there's someone else on the show, the Mickey Mouse Club, who looks like me, right? And who's just been just working since. And that was like the really great part, been working since,
Yeah. Yeah.
And now we just did MMC 35 in Daytona at the 90s Con.
Yes.
Awesome. It was so good. So good, just hanging out and just having that moment to just chat about, just about stuff. And we were in the lobby of the hotel, right?
Yes. Oh my goodness. This particular time was pretty cool. I felt like we were all accepting and embracing our maturity in a whole other way. I had some conversations that tickled me to pieces about just touring. I mean, 35 years later, right? Like, whoa.
Crazy.
Yeah.
I can't even believe it's gone by that fast. Like, that many years have gone by. It just makes no sense to me at all.
Where?
Yeah. Right. So let's talk about the Mickey Mouse Club. You are a Mouseketeer on the all new Mickey Mouse Club. How did you come to getting on the show?
Well, I was a part of the cattle call that went through Chicago. Did you do the cattle call too?
I did, in Orlando.
In Orlando, that's when, for those who might not know, they just kind of send out a general call to all kids who want to come and audition for the show. I did get the audition through my agent, but there were so many children there, so we kind of just went through like an assembly line, and they asked what they wanted. You gave them what you thought they wanted, and you hope for the best.
Right.
But that's kind of how mine happened. I may have done, I don't know, 2 or 3 auditions before they flew us to Los Angeles.
Okay.
And I met a couple of my counterparts that ended up being on the show, a few of them actually. And yeah, that was the first time I'd been to California. So that was trippy, coming from the Great Plains where, the land is flat, and Cali, there's this backdrop of mountains. I just had this really special memory of it looking like a postcard to me. I was like,
yes. Yes, totally amazing, the landscape for sure. How did the experience of being on the Mickey Mouse Club, getting on that Mickey Mouse Club, shape your career, shape your personal growth experience?
Oh my goodness. I mean, I'm sure you can relate to this because you were a Mouseketeer yourself. I felt like it was a performing arts school on steroids.
Right, right.
They had us doing everything from
Everything.
interviewing some of the top stars that were
Mhm.
in that time, learning how to do dance numbers. If you weren't that great of a dancer, you were about to become one.
That's
Um,
right.
right? And now maybe they don't have to use them as much, but we used to use 5 cameras. So you had to learn
Mhm.
how to be intentional in your performance, while you're moving
Yeah.
through the routine. We did
Yeah.
music videos, we did skits. I ended up doing the spinoff show Emerald Cove, which was like a drama. So I got the opportunity to stretch in
Awesome.
comedy and stretch in drama. And then, we did documentaries. I remember doing a documentary in Alaska on a glacier. I think I got frostbite from that, to be honest with you.
Oh, wow.
To this day, my fingertips get cold at the slightest bit of chill, like they,
Really?
yeah. But that was an
Wow.
amazing experience that I would not have thought I would have.
Yeah.
The way we were so conscious about
Mhm.
the environment and, celebrating children who are making a difference in the community, bringing on thought leaders and political leaders to see
Mhm.
us at that age, being green, right? Earth Day. I mean,
Yeah.
just we were shaped, groomed, conditioned to be very thoughtful entertainers to me. And they gave us a lot of room to do it while still being children.
Mhm.
I was
Mhm.
good with that.
It was an exciting time. Like, I loved just like learning the numbers. I just like to work. So that's what's exciting for me.
You little workaholic, I love it. No wonder you're so good.
I love it. I mean, I just love that the whole process of learning the routines, learning and singing the songs, getting in the studio, getting on that stage, and doing everything you learn, the costumes, the makeup, like everything that was put together. I so enjoyed that. It was really a special time
Yeah.
to as a kid. I mean, of course, you would like these things as adults too, be on TV shows and stuff, but it was just amazing as a child to be doing this work, and I just had the greatest time.
I love it. I agree.
Yeah.
Concur.
Well, now let's transition into acting, right? Where you just talked about how you were on Eagle Cove, right?
Emerald Cove.
Emerald Cove, and those are those shows that they showed like once a week or twice a week during the show, during the Mickey Mouse Club time, that were dramatic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep, that was our drama.
A lot of people. That was so amazing because, like, you look at those shows and you're like, well, I want to be on one of those, Like, I want to be on that too. Yeah,
Yes,
I'm so
people.
happy. Awesome. What was it like, being on, like, you're doing the show, Mickey Mouse Club, and then you're going over doing that show? How did that work? Like, what was the schedule
That's a good
in
question.
doing that?
Sometimes I feel like I need little things or people to bring up incidents to jog my memory about stuff because it's like, what file is that?
Right.
On top
Right.
of it being 35 years ago, it's like how many experiences we've stacked on top of each other in
Right.
35 years. I don't remember exactly. I want to say, I don't know if we had an extra month to do it outside of the show and then they pieced it into the show, or if we
Mhm.
were doing it while we were shooting the Mouse Club. I can't remember. But
Okay.
I do know we were on location. We did a lot
Mhm.
of stuff at the beach. We were in a band in the show. So
Oh, okay.
that was cool. They had a nice set built for that.
Yeah.
It's just like another great opportunity to stretch as an entertainer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like that.
Hmm.
So, like, okay, during this time, were there any, like, making your transition, you're doing the acting, you're doing voiceovers, you're doing the television, you're doing Emerald Cove, you're doing a lot. You're industrials.
Oh, that's when I was a kid.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, right
Wow.
before, I guess. That, yeah.
So like how was there like the challenges that you had to face and overcome during these times of making these different transitions? Can you tell us about those?
You know what's so funny? You know what this reminds me of?
What?
It reminds me of the day that my mom drove me. I was in my first professional play. I became professional at 12, right? So there was
Okay.
theater in Chicago called the Goodman Theater. That's like this professional theater house. And if you work there in Chicago, that's great, right? So I got maybe 3 roles in the Christmas Carol. You know how you can ensemble here and play this part over there and play whatever. So in addition to having to do the play, of course, I was still a kid. I was in school full time. I still had to do my homework. And then I
Right.
would go to rehearsal. It felt like I had to go every dang on day of the week. And then of course, you got to perform the show
Right.
weekend. So when I tell you I got in front of that building and broke down, I was sobbing. I was like, I don't want to go in. I didn't want to go in. I was so done. I was so overworked. Okay.
Yeah.
My mom was my first coach, and she was the one that worked on my mindset for my mental toughness in that moment. And she let me have my moment. She let me cry. She let me express why I was crying. And she like gives me my pep talk, and she's like, "You ready?" I'm like, "Yeah." I was like, she's like, "All right, let's go." You know what I mean? Like, get in there and knock it out, kid.
Right.
That truly, because of that experience, I did not want to go back to theater, believe it or not. I didn't go back until like 25 years old.
Wow.
And I had to really rework my mindset around it, because for me, it was work, you know, and maybe it anchored a different kind of thought in me, feeling or trigger in me. Yeah. And so that's a whole other situation that anchored another trigger in me. But I finally moved into a different space where I could go back to the theater, but it wasn't an adult.
Nice. And when you went back to theater, what was your first performance?
I was the lead. They had found me. This was before social media was popping. So somehow, some way, somebody word of mouth, because I was the girl on the Jamie Foxx show, is the way people used to say it. And they wanted to do this lead role, and I was playing opposite. Oh my gosh, my brain's like, Alan Payne, and Richard Roundtree. You know what? Just shout out to Richard Roundtree. Rest in peace. That was my buddy. He is the one that named me RnB.
Okay.
He was like, he used to say RnB, and I'd be like R&R, and then I just put Miss in front of it. But that was where it came from.
That's awesome.
Shout out to him.
He really like looked out for a lot of people. I know a couple other people that he like really helped and looked out for when they got to LA. So that's awesome.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
Yeah. Let's talk about the Jamie Foxx show. Your role as Nicole on the Jamie Foxx show was quite memorable. Tell us about how you got that, right? And then tell us about the experience of working on the show and how it impacted your career.
Well, the cool thing was I had already been auditioning a lot in LA. You know, when I had a club, I wanted to go where the big dogs play, is how I used to say it, you know, like Hollywood. And so I used to shout out to Dee Dee Bradley. I wonder where she is now. Casting. Casting. Dee Dee Bradley, she would see me a lot. So she knew that I could sing and act. And I think at that moment, I had booked another role on Jamie's show, but I had booked something else and I couldn't do it. So this role came around. I didn't have to audition. I just went to the table read. But because of that, I was like, oh, I gotta be on, you know, I gotta get my stuff together, you know, because they don't know what I'm bringing. I don't know what I'm bringing, right? But I gotta do something. So I remember we were on Warner Brothers lot, I want to say, and it was the table reads. All the producers and writers were coming in because you want to go through the script and see what's working, what doesn't work, fix it before you go into putting it on its feet. Jamie, and it was kind of like that run of the mill morning. Everybody's chilling, talking, buzzing, whatever. So he starts, and when it came to my part, Jamie did similar to what he did in the episode. He really was throwing it away because he was just kind of going through the motions for the table. But I didn't feel that way because I'm like, they don't know me and they don't know if I'm going to whatever. So I threw it back at him with all seriousness, and the room erupted. And Jamie's like dabbing his nose like a fighter gets hit, and he's like dabbing blood or whatever. And it was just this hilarious moment. And that I have a chill, started the kind of buzz of that moment becoming what it became.
Yeah. Well, you were on there a long time, and you were in the Jingles group because he was writing jingles, right?
Yeah, I had a recurring role. I was working in Jingles 2000 with the crew.
That is so awesome. What an incredible opportunity. I'm sorry?
They were all so talented, like to work.
Yeah.
Them are so funny and just quick wit, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
How was it like behind the scenes, like when you guys weren't shooting? I'm sure everybody was hilarious.
I thought so. I mean, you know, that was the thing. I think we were catching a lot of people in their prime right there too. So just quick wit, lots of fun, banter, you know. It was a nice experience.
I love it. I love it. Now let's talk about joining En Vogue. Okay. But before that, anything in between Jamie Foxx and En Vogue that maybe we didn't know about, or?
I don't know if it was significant enough to say. No.
Okay. Well, then let's move on to En Vogue, because that's extremely significant.
Yeah.
How did that opportunity come about? And what has been the most rewarding part of being a member of such an iconic R&B group, or just women group in general?
How about that? You know, shout out to our Mouseketeer brother, Ricky Luna. The day Ricky needed somebody to come and sing one of the demos that he had put together. And so he gave me a call. And he was with another gentleman, he was a producer that was already producing some records, or at least one or two of the records that were on our Soulflower CD that ended up coming out. And at the end of the session, he was the one that said, hey, I don't know if you would be interested in something like this, but En Vogue is looking for another member. Wow. Yeah. I really wish I could remember how I thought about that in the moment.
Yeah.
But he introduced me to Denzel Foster, who's one of the founders of the group. And I was able to let him hear the record that I did do something significant. I was the first lady of Dark Child. I was signed to Rodney J label, via Sony. And so I traveled the world with that. So that's absolutely significant, or at least
part extremely significant.
Right. And the reason I'm remembering is because I shared with Denny some of my music from that record. And so he was able to hear me as a recording artist. He also heard some things that I had written. And that was one of the things that really perked his ears, that I was a songwriter. And so he flew me up to the Bay to meet Terry and Cindy. And we just kind of, meshed. Yeah. And that's kind of how it began.
That is awesome. And so, like, being a part of that group, knowing that they had so much success, this is the it was a #1 female group of actually like all time.
At one point, maybe.
Yeah. And like, how was that, joining that group and just like getting into it, and, you know, rehearsals and all that, getting to, you know, recording and getting on stage with them and learning the routines and the songs?
Yeah. Oh my goodness. See, that's where this good old Mouseketeer training came in, baby. You know, rehearsal and picking stuff up, just because that's how we were trained. You know, you had to go in, get it, you know. A lot of that training was crucial for me and prepared me for that moment. I'm also extremely grateful that social media was not born yet, because I wasn't exposed to all of the feedback that may not have supported me in that space. I was able to kind of find my footing. Like back then, you remember, I think it was like Yahoo groups maybe were starting to form. And I even remember seeing some negative feedback in there, from not all negative, but, you know, it was like enough that it's like, and it was a new growing thing where you could give feedback on the internet like that, you know? So I'm just glad that it wasn't as rampant as it is today, because it really gave me an opportunity to settle into my skin and figure out how I fit, how I could bring my uniqueness to, you know, still upholding what they already established.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, wow. That's just amazing. I love seeing the pictures of you on stage with them and just like in all your diva-ness, like, yes, baby. Just looking amazing, sounding amazing.
Thank
Love
you
it.
so much. Thank you.
Now we're going to talk about Personal Power University.
Mm.
You founded Personal Power University to empower individuals. What motivated you to start this platform, and what do you hope to give for it, for you know, those individuals that join, that come on board? What do you hope for them to gain from it?
You know, so the original members of En Vogue tried coming back to each other twice.
Oh, wow.
The second time, I was not prepared. I had gotten complacent. I was comfortable. I wasn't really nurturing relationships, you know, doing all the things that I did, some of the things, but I wasn't as relentless or diligent. Let's say that, as diligent as I normally was, with the ritual even that I would do every day, the way I would visualize, the way I would speak things, you know, the way I would work towards things, take massive action. And so when that happened, it was like a wake up call. And then I felt I hit a wall in my career, because no matter how hard I might try to push a door of opportunity open, it would not budge. So I really felt like God needed to put me on my knees, because I was on my knees. And
I know.
Okay, can you relate? And get the message. And, you know, now that I think about it, even in this moment, for what I say I choose to do with my life and the way that I choose to be used with what is within me, I needed it. I needed it. Of course, you know, hindsight is always 2020. When you're going through it, I'm like, oh, I don't know what's going on. It's the most stressful, scary time of my career. I didn't even know if I was coming back. And it got so tight for me financially.
Yeah.
That I ended up getting my first regular job. You know, it's not any disrespect to anybody that keeps a regular job. It's just that it wasn't my life. And so it's happening after I have been on the Jamie Foxx show, and I've been Mouseketeer, and I've been in En Vogue. And it's like, I'm in an alternative health store, because I was working for a buddy of mine. I was so grateful that I was able to go into a business that I was interested in. And you know, sometimes people might walk into the store, because I worked in every aspect of his business. I was like customer service, product creation. I even went into shipping. I was a shipping manager, girl. I'll tell you, I got but I worked behind the counter, and like sometimes somebody might come in, and I was such a fish out of water. So they would be like, aren't you the girl from the Jamie Foxx show? Or did I see you? I'm like, yeah, you know, whatever. You want some burdock root? Like, totally embrace, you know, the moment. It was not to say that I needed humbling, but it was very humbling. It was it was a time, it's a time that I learned to call my winter. There's a great motivational speaker out there named Jim Rohn. He's fantastic. But he talks about life like it's in seasons. And what I didn't do with my winter is wasted. I refused to be unhappy. I was like, we're going to find purpose right where you are, even if it's not going back to the business. What are you going to do where you can find hope and you can bring purpose? And so I got back to the basics. I started giving myself structure. Like, I was used to getting up at whatever as an artist, you know, I could finish studio session at 3, go to the studio again at 11 or 2 or 1. No, if you want to start deliberately creating your success again, Rhona, you've got to have structure. and we got to find out, we got to follow the tea leaves, as my husband says, like, look at all these other champions. And if I could find, what they were doing in particular on a majority basis, because I'm very practical, like I want to take it from philosophy and ground it. Like, how do we do it in real time? And that I was so dedicated to that it was like I sent myself off to my own college. I was studying, I don't know, no less than 2 hours a day. I didn't watch TV. I was either, if I wasn't working, and when I became this shipping manager, I was bringing work home. So I was like, 16-hour days were not foreign to me at one point. And I just remember running this mantra in my mind. I was like, it won't be like this always. I will put shots on my time again. It won't be like this. I just kept speaking that. And in the meantime, I was giving 150% of myself to overhauling my habits, re-empowering my mindset, staying in my spirit and getting in spiritual alignment. And it's like a year, maybe I was there for a year. I probably got about 3 raises while I was there. That's just a sign of me like giving it all I had. And I felt God was like, all right, you got it, kid. And they called me back. And I've been back ever since. And that happened in 2012.
Wow.
It's weird how it happened. And that's a whole, but yeah, in so many words.
Yeah. That's amazing. It's so amazing the different, like you say, seasons that one goes through. And I think sometimes like people who aren't in entertainment business don't kind of get it. They're like you say, aren't you from like television? Aren't you? But, and then it feels strange. You're coming out of television, you're coming out of this professional area to now going into, like you say, the 9 to 5. And that's a big change.
Yes, it is a shift, major shift.
Major shift.
Yeah.
And but then again, I think sometimes people don't get how hard you work as an entertainer and those different things like, sometimes people say, oh, well, you didn't have a regular job. But yeah, you still had like 16-hour days, how long you're in the studio, and then you're going to the next thing, to the interview, you're having to get changed, you're having to, revamp really quick. Yeah. You have a lot of stuff that's going on. I mean, you're waking up early. I remember even just like, waking up early out there in the water, like 5 o'clock in the morning, and it's cold, in a swimsuit, and you're out there the whole day. And that was even after like my dad passed away. It was like, you still got to keep moving. You're a professional. You're in this job. Even as a kid, you are working. Yes, and people just think like it's so glamorous. Like, what are you, just like being fed grapes and laying down, like chilling? I don't think so.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely some work there. That's for sure. Okay.
Yeah.
Hilarious.
But that's like so encouraging and inspiring how you handled it, because you were like, look, it's just not going to be like this forever, but I'm taking it, I'm doing it, and I'm going to make this work. And you're just like getting promotion and raises, after the other while being there for a year.
Yeah.
Glory to God. That's amazing that you just like, look, this is what we got to do, and we're going to do it.
We're going to do it. And so while I was helping myself, that's when I decided to deliberately help others, because I always thought it would be cool to be a coach, but not until I hit that wall and I had to overhaul my own life. I was like, it's time.
That is awesome. Please tell people right now, where can they get involved in your university, Personal Power University?
Yes, that's my heart work. All of it is, but my goodness. You can come and visit me at RhonaBennett.com. That's RhonaBennett. The school information is there. And if you want to contact me, of course, go through the website and we'll get in touch with you. We also have something coming up, because I just pivoted to become the creatives coach. I've been life coaching for 14 years now. And this year, I'm pivoting and being the creatives coach, because I know we need it more than ever. I know you see what's happening with our industry. The underbelly is showing its face. And I was like, all right, we need people out there who really do have your best interest at heart.
Right.
As you know, I've seen a lot of it over 35 years professionally in the field. And, a combination of life coaching, it would be my pleasure and privilege to pour into people in that way. So October 22nd and 23rd, it's a 2-day free live virtual event on Zoom with me and my team, but me, you're hanging out with me. You can get one-on-one coaching. I'm going to teach about practical tools for discernment, because all opportunity ain't good opportunity. All money ain't good money, right? How do you identify that when you are so sensitive about your art and you really want opportunity, right? We got to know how to breathe and assess, right? So many things that I hope can help you take the next best steps personally and professionally.
I love that.
Mm-hmm.
That is, people need it. And you're so right. The underbelly showing itself. People need that. And to learn how to push through, because it can be hard, the rejection, or like you said, like you're grateful that there was no social media,
Yeah.
and it's a lot to push through, because everybody got an opinion.
Hello.
So,
And I have plenty of practice with that now, but at least I didn't have to go through that in the beginning, You
were able to get your feet in there and get grounded before, all that came about. Yes.
I'm a pro at it now, okay?
Hilarious. That's right. You are just so busy. You have so many hats that you are wearing as a singer, as an actress, as a coach, and more. How do you balance these different roles, and what keeps you motivated?
I'm starting to not say balance and just say harmony.
Okay, I love that, harmony.
Yeah, because the balance can look different depending on the day, depending on the intention, depending on what's needed. So the way I stay motivated is they're both passions. I don't know if I'd be able to go this hard if both of them weren't in some way my passion. So that keeps me going, because sometimes I can get a little exhausted. Maybe a couple weeks ago, I just admitted to myself, I was like, I'm tired. And I had to give myself permission to pause to power up. And so I am in recognition of that. If I can just stay present to when I need to pause, because that's my opportunity to power up, self-nurture, power up, delegate. If you need help, don't be afraid to ask for help, honey. Delegate, and keep surrounding myself with the right people and resources that keep me aligned with my highest goal, So I can do that. I do that. That's kind of my support system.
Yes.
The main support system.
Advice for aspiring artists. What advice would you give to young artists who are just starting their journey in the entertainment industry?
Just starting. Find you a trusted advisor or mentor, so that you can have someone to bounce your ideas off of, someone who has your best interest at heart, who really cares about you, your well-being, and your art. And can help you to find the right key players to plug into your story when you're ready.
Thus, Personal Power University.
Hello. Yeah. Something like that. And don't forget that I am a master student. I'm still in vocal lessons. I'm still finding a way to mix my middle, my mid-range, my chest with my head, so stay in the lab, stay in the work, keep honing.
Good advice. Yeah. I've been thinking about, I need to get back to it too. That I was like, I need to, because it's that, like you said, that mix. I mean, you sing all the way in the rafters, you get that mix,
Come on, now you're talking my language. So that's, I was like, there's always room to stretch and grow,
Absolutely. Do we have time? I want to talk like more personal. You've gotten married recently. Yes. Let's talk about that. How did you meet your husband? Like, how did all of it come about? Because we didn't know. We saw you at 35. I saw you a few times. 30. I saw you a few times in LA. And then I saw she's getting married. I'm like, what? Please tell us.
Because he's been around me all along.
I love it.
And it blew my mind. I'm like, so I've known my husband since freshman year in high school.
What? Okay, I'm sorry.
Right.
I love it. Okay, go ahead.
So we kept in touch over the years. Even when I would go away from the Mouse Club, he would be one of the few people from school. I mean, I have my staple friends, but the few people from school that would come by. He knows my father before he passed. He knows my mom, my sister. So he would always come by. And then when I started PPU, maybe a year afterwards, he was like, well, Ro, I'm going to come. I'm going to come. I want to support your business and I need accountability because he was in transportation at the time and he wanted to get his own truck. So I was like, all right, come on. And it's so crazy how when people come to PPU for one thing, they may totally get something else out of it because we're peeling back your onion, you know? So it was there. That got us a little closer, you know? And then when the pandemic hit, I remember I had a girlfriend and she was like, Rhona, I'm doing Ramadan. And I was like, I'm not, you know, Muslim, but I was like, I would love to have something make me pause on that level for praying and just dealing with me and God, because I was coming out of a terrible breakup. It was one of the worst. I mean, I felt like I was waking up with anxiety, like a heaviness on my chest every day. And I was like, I'm about to heal. I refuse to be a bag lady. I was going to be carrying emotional baggage, muddying up my energy for who could come into my life. And so I didn't run from my emotions. I did a Ramadan, is what I was calling it at the time.
I love it.
But my husband actually was Muslim, you know. And so when he found out that I was doing Ramadan, he was like, wait, what? He's like, can I be your Ramadan partner? And I was like, okay, sure. And that got us a little closer. So we had a lot of conversations. And then back in 2021, he was like, I found a spiritual retreat because we were talking about going to a particular retreat. He was like, I found one and we're going to go. You know, you want to go? I was like, cool. And so he was like, if she does this with me, that's my one. I kind of had a feeling he was going to approach me. And I was like, no, you know, because I was not feeling him like that. He wasn't my type or whatever. And I didn't want him to mess up our friendship. I was like, don't make it weird. Don't make it weird.
Right.
But he did it anyway. He made it weird. And we decided, you know, because we were like integration coaches, you know, after we went to the retreat, you know, we spent time unpacking what we experienced together and what we were learning together. And over that time, I fell in love with him. And you know,
I love it.
It's so, you know, that phrase, I don't know if you've heard it, where it says, what you need becomes what you want.
Yeah.
That's what I think happened. Like sometimes, you know, getting caught up in what you think is a type or this or that, it could get in the way of one, what's in front of you, but also it just, I was able to see what I needed to see about what was inside. Character, just the traits that I needed. I was just at an executive mastermind this weekend with Lisa Nichols, powerhouse, right?
Wow, she's amazing. Yeah.
Yeah. And Lisa said that her husband, she's like, I'm a kite. He's my string. Ooh, that's kind of how my husband feels, like a anchor, like a grounder.
Yes, yes.
You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I ended up finding my string girl in the most peculiar place.
I love that. Oh my gosh.
So don't neglect, ladies. He might be right under your nose. He may be your friend. Because I mean, at the end of the day, marrying your friend is where it's at.
I believe that.
You know?
That's right. He accepts you for all the parts. He's seen it all, accept all the parts of you. Yeah.
You get along, you got that common thread. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of what's lingering when all the other stuff could fade.
Yeah.
Friendship.
I just love that you guys have known each other since high school.
Yeah. It blows my mind. Like, you're my husband? I love him. You know?
How do you balance the two? How do you balance like the marriage and your career?
Well, you know what's interesting? Like I was mentioning earlier, he was in transportation. He drove trucks or his truck. which, I was always on the road and he was always on the road. So we kind of felt like we meshed because we both could understand a partner that's always gone.
Yeah.
But recently he realized, he was like, and I feel the same way. I mean, let me say this in a way that hopefully is digested properly. But trucking can be a very individual thing. So if you have family and you got kids, I hope that the people who are doing that are able to get back and spend as much quality time as they want to, because it can be, in my humble estimation, tough to spend so much time away. And he just was like, I don't like spending that much time away. Things have shifted, in what he desires. And he's just like, this isn't for me anymore. So he just pivoted. And he's home way more now. And so it's changed the landscape of our relationship again. Nice. And I like it. I'm doing more of the traveling right now, but he was going probably more than me unless I was on tour. So it just kind of works. He understands because we've already been there.
That's good. Yeah. Well, tell us about any future projects you have upcoming or goals you're excited to share with us. Please tell us what you got going on.
Let me see. Okay, so I told you about the mastermind. I'm coming out with the second edition of my book, Saving Your Soul, which is a roadmap, if you will. It's a mentor book for people at all stages of their career. When you want to know about the industry, and I talk about everything from doing business with friends, how do you do that successfully, to contracts, to touring, to key players, what their role is, how to pay them, and the second edition is really diving deep into the emotional intelligence of the artist, also the networking, also how to, some of the things that we talked about in this conversation, just how to navigate you and the terrain and keep your soul intact, So Saving Your Soul is coming. Be on the lookout for that. I just put together this music project, Instant Classic. I have 3 songs that I've released from it. And the reason that I think it was able to be birthed, because I only thought I was doing a single to complement Saving Your Soul. Okay. I turned on my creative spout, more came out. And it's because I have, it's Coach Ro's message through Miss RnB's performance. My 2 passions. So it is a message full of messages that I want people. It's an album full of messages that I would like people to have, to support them, encourage them, push them, hold you if that's what you need to, to have. So I'm very excited about that, and that's going to be a collector's vinyl towards the end of this year. So you can look out for that. And then, with En Vogue, we do a lot of performances here, there, and everywhere. So, be sure to check out our calendar at envoguemusic.com or at rhonabennett.com. We have more private shows towards the end of this year. Please come out and party with us. We love it. And it would be great to meet you.
Yes.
Yeah.
Tell us one more time where they can reach you about your personal, your Power Growth University, Personal Power University.
Yes, if you want to find out more about Personal Power University, you can visit rhonabennett.com. So RHONABENNETT. There's a tab on there that shows you coaching and PPU. Click one of those, it'll take you to the information that you need. And if you want to, like I said, join me for one of the masterminds, and you can come and see what I do.
Rhona, it's been so awesome talking to you. Please share with us one of your most memorable times, either on Jamie Foxx, on the road with En Vogue, the Mickey Mouse Club, or all of them.
Oh my God.
Most memorable moments.
Wow. Well, I'll say this. When you said the Mickey Mouse Club, that kind of brought a file to the front.
Okay.
So I remember when Brittany and Justin and Ryan, that group of kids came onto the show, and they, how we used to do the numbers, and, they did Love Can Move Mountains by Selena. Okay. And we all went to the beach. This is where the kids that would come and watch the tapings would sit to watch us do the show. And so the alumni, if you will, we went and sat on the beach, and we were waiting for the new kids to do their new number. And I can remember Christina Aguilera sounding practically the dang on same as she did as she matured. That's how good her voice was at such an incredibly young age. Like,
Wow.
very impressive. I remember thinking, like, dang, look, like just big for no reason. And was the littlest thing. I mean, she's, of course, could be coming to her womanhood now, but she used to be so little. She was this big, matured sound.
Wow.
And I was impressed with that. And I guess staying in that vein, it really, I always thought that the Mouse Club was like the best kept secret,
Yeah.
Right? I was like, talented kids down here. And when I was on there, I don't know if it was like that for you too, Rocky. They had to pay for the Disney Channel. Did they pay for the Disney Channel?
Oh,
Yes.
yeah.
It wasn't, it was a very niche group of kids, if you will.
Right.
Watch the Mouse Club. And so I just used to think they had the best kept secret. And then to watch everybody, a lot of them grow up to become these huge mega stars. Even.
I know.
I was like, you gotta wow, I didn't expect that. I didn't know. But just to know that we were all in that space and everybody had something that was so special about they were there. That is powerful to me.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Wow. Tell us about your influences and inspirations. Like, who have been your biggest influences in music and in acting?
I can't really say I've ever thought about it from the perspective of acting. I've always thought about it from the perspective of music. Yeah, that's so interesting. But of course, Whitney Houston was, a childhood inspiration. I remember watching her on television when it was like that where she was in front of the microphone. I think it was You Give Good Love. She was just so with this swan-like beauty. And I was like, oh, and she sounded great and all of that. So she was huge inspiration. My mom used to listen to the Gap Band. That was her favorite group. So on a regular basis on vinyl. Marvin Gaye was always, around. That was my mom's favorite male artist. She loved Gladys Knight. That was her favorite female artist. So I have some strong soul in my background. And, my favorite group back in the day was DeBarge. I used to love DeBarge.
Oh, I know.
They were my favorite. They were my favorite. Do you hear me?
Yeah.
The melody, even to this day, I don't know if this happens for you, but even to this day, when I listen to like All This Love or, some of the stuff from the All This Love record, it's like, it's a feeling. It's it takes me to a place, and it's like the chords that he used to play, Elder in particular, and they're the chords they used to sing, like their harmonies, right? It's something about it that is so special to me. Like it feels a special kind of way. So that, those are some of my music influences. I don't know who I would have given credit to be honest, as an actress, but I know people that I appreciate their prowess, like Viola Davis's Beast.
Oh yeah.
Oh my gosh, of course, Denzel Washington, Beast. There's so many people that are like crazy talented. Even Halle Berry, she to do some pretty, she stretches. I can appreciate that she stretches the way that she does.
Very daring, yeah.
Yeah, like she'll be the boxer.
Yes.
Like, okay, Halle, go for it, girl. Like,
she did an incredible job.
Losing Isaiah, like just can take herself emotionally. She does find layers. She finds depth,
she does.
So LaBassett, right? The way she crushed the What's Love Got to Do with It.
That's right. Absolutely. The powerhouses. Yep.
Yeah.
And when you were talking about music and that feeling, I get that feeling when I listen to Teddy Pendergrass, because I'm just like, his vocals.
Yes.
And then the passion in his vocals. Yes. I mean, like, you can't duplicate it. I mean, it's just amazing. And then, I loved it that we have YouTube, because I would have never seen his, like one day he just popped in my head. I was on a 134. I don't know what happened that out of nowhere, Teddy Pendergrass came to my mind. And once I got home, I had to listen to everything Teddy Pendergrass, see everything Teddy Pendergrass, read everything Teddy Pendergrass for like a week. I was like on top. I had to know everything. And just to have that experience that I couldn't be there, but to just see his performance and to just his vocals. And like you said, the music, the way the music is arranged, like you can, like people are putting their soul into that music. And it's just like, whoa, it just gives me chills right now.
Because you know what? There's a few, I was going to say, who else do you love like that? You like, there are people who I remember, what's that song? Is it Pat Benatar that did it? Or was it somebody else that, Love is a Battlefield? Who sang that?
I think that's Pat Benatar. Love is a battlefield.
Remember how she started and then she that first line. Look, I charge everybody to go listen to the first line of Love is a Battlefield by Pat Benatar and just check the passion that she came in with. Honey, that is the type of stuff that just like, I don't know. Gladys Knight is similar. There's just something about the passion they sing with you. You got me on this track because of Teddy Pendergrass. Even Cyndi Lauper. I mean, like, if you just go back a little bit, when people had to beast to get in the game. Yeah. The nuance, the character, the energy, the interpretation. Oh. Yeah. Yeah, thank you for taking me there.
Rhona, it's been such a pleasure having you on. I so appreciate you coming on my show, the Planet Rock podcast, with the amazing Miss Rhona Bennett. Yes, thank you so much. I look forward to developing more of a friendship with you and just knowing you better and being a part of your life, because I just think you're just such a beautiful person. I loved you the moment I met you.
Now you're giving me the things again.
Yeah. And I look forward to the next time. Thank you all for listening to the Planet Rock podcast. I know y'all could have been any place else, but y'all came right here to listen to me here on the Planet Rock podcast, and I so appreciate it. I am most grateful. And come back next Thursday. We got more talks, real talk, real people goodness. This is what we do. Planet Rock podcast. Love you all. Thank you so much.
What an awesome show full of insight and inspiration. Thank you to our guests and listeners. Look forward to hearing us next week on envision-radio.com at 12 noon, right here on Planet Rock.